Date: Oscar Wilde. Once, when the prince was alive, he was filled with richness and luxury to the point that, after his death, he was gilded all over with thin leaves of fine gold. For eyes he had 2 bright sapphires, and a large red ruby glowed on his sword hilt. The statue receives admiration from all passers-by, including town councilors. A sallow flies over the city on his way to Egypt. He had been delayed after falling in love with a reed, attracted to her gracefulness. When she wouldn't accompany his travels, the swallow left alone, but ended up stopping under the statue of the happy prince to rest. Surprised at what he takes to be rainfall on a clear night, the swallow realizes that the happy prince has been crying. They introduce for themselves, and the happy prince describes his childhood in a gated palace, where he lived in sans souci and played in a walled garden, a time full of superficial pleasures when he was ignorant of the suffering in his city. O2 of Teal Blue to 2001 Anvold. Fabling, but the sallow agrees to help the happy prince after he describes his pity for a seamstress sewing passion flowers on the satin gown of a lady-in-waiting. She lives in the poor house and cannot care for her skisic son, so the swallow agrees to deliver the ruby from the prince's sword hilt to her. He delivers the ruby and stays in order to cool the feverish boy by flapping his wings. After delivering the ruby, the swallow returns and M describes feeling quite warm in spite of the cold, due to his good deed. Ed. Eli. 3. The swallow intends to go to Egypt. Nevertheless, the prince begs him to stay and help a young playwright freezing in his garret. The man needs to finish a play for the teacher director but become too cold. In the end, the swallow agrees to stay another night and plucks out one woe of the prince's sapphire eyes to deliver to the young man. No, the swallow returns once more to bid farewell to the happy prince, who pleads with him to deliver his other sapphire eye to a little 9-match girl who has dropped her matches. Without any money, the child's father will beat her. The swallow agrees and promises also remain in the town by the prince's side forever, as he cannot bear to leave him a bone and blind on his pedestal. The swallow flies over the city and reports of the rich making merry while beggars starve at their gates, including young boys trying to warm themselves under a bridge while a passing watchman tries to clear them out. Upon hearing this, the prince wishes to distribute gold leaves. The swallow agrees to help and he delivers sheets of gold leaf to the children. The prince grows dull and gray, while children's faces laughed and played games in the street. Winter finally arrives, and the swallow grows far too cold. Knowing that only limited time remains to him, he asks to kiss the prince's hand. Instead, the prince says, "You must kiss me on the lips, for I love you." The swallow does so and falls down dead at his feet, at which point the prince's leaden heart snaps right in two. The next morning, the mayor spots the gray statue with the dead swallow at its feet and complains of its shabbiness, and they decide to have the happy prince melted down and recast into a new statue, though they fight as to whom he should represent. The mayor wishes statue of himself, but each of the town councilors think it should be of them instead. The art professor at the university goes so far as to say, as he is no longer beautiful, he is no longer useful. The overseer of the workmen at the Foundry melts down the statue but notes with shock that the broken lead heart refuses to melt. Giving up, he tosses the heart aside on a dust heap along with the body of the swallow. Soon after, God asks one of his angels to bring the two most precious things in the city. The angel brings the leaden heart and the dead bird and chosen God agrees that he had rightly. The prince and the swallow would be rewarded eternally in paradise for their compassion and sacrifice.